Hey guys, welcome back to Ready Up. This is the second episode of the PvP Team's bi-weekly live stream, where we talk about just about everything related to PvP in general. This week I've got with me again John Corpening, the PvP Team lead. How's it going, sir?
It's good. It's good. It's good to be here.
All right, so it's been a long, interesting year. So today we're going to take the opportunity to do a little bit of a retrospective on 2013. We'll touch on some things that we're going to be working on going into 2014, and we'll just see where that takes us.
Yeah, it's been a great year for PvP, and we're like looking forward to all the things that are coming. But we just kind of decided to take a pause and kind of look back, see the things that came out this year. It's just kind of exciting to see the things that have gone in, and then see where we're going from there.
Right? It's a good way to cap off the end of the year here. This is the last live stream of 2013. We will be back sometime in early to mid-January, and with some more shows, and hopefully bi-weekly. So yeah, like I said, it's been a long year.
Yeah. We kicked off this year here with matchmaking, right? It's kind of a funny story with matchmaking is that, for one, I have to say, that was actually my last piece of code that went into this. I was a programmer prior to taking over as running PvP. And so worked on that system, the first iteration of it, And we decided to turn it on, test it out. We weren't sure if anyone was going to notice, and it was kind of fun to actually see people make posts on the forums and say hey, something's up here. My matches are getting better.
Right.
So it was just kind of a fun thing for us to see happening. Kind of.
They picked up kind of quick.
They picked it up. They actually picked it up probably within a day of it going on.
We pay attention.
Yeah, definitely.
We did pay attention.
It's like I'm not getting my face stomped anymore.
Well, I mean,
I'm not stomping faces anymore.
For anyone that was familiar with the 3-round tournaments beforehand, no matter who you queued up with, it was complete just gamble who you're going to face. You could be going in round one and face everyone that's relatively on the same equal footing as you, and then you get into the last round and it's the first place game, and you face PZ or PTC or there's just some NA teams, and you just get absolutely destroyed. So it did bring a little bit of balance and made the game a little bit more enjoyable for people all around. So it was a good change.
Yeah, and around that time we had Dojo Week. The Temple of the Silent Storm.
Right, Temple.
So to give you guys some insight on how we develop things here, we always come up with code words internally, and that's kind of how we talk about things. And then when things kind of get further along, we give it its actually full name.
Right.
So our internal word for Temple of the Silent Storm is Dojo. So that just squawked right out there.
Yeah, and I remember, I was still a player back then, obviously, and I did like it. The queue times for the 18 turns were a lot longer, and it was really great to be able to just queue up and get right into a game right off the bat, and it was good. I mean, and obviously that led us to having the varied match pops, or they change every 2 days, and then eventually, what we have now is that it's a random chance for any one of the maps in the pool. Yeah,
players liked it so much we decided to basically eliminate the 3-round tournaments and go to 1-round matches,
Right.
And just people really enjoyed that a whole bunch more, so... Yeah. Then Spirit Watch was the first map to come out this year.
Was that in February?
That was in February.
February, okay.
Yeah. And, I'm sure most people are familiar with that one, but that's
should hopefully be by now.
Yeah, but if you're a new player, that's kind of combining some Capture the Flag with Conquest Match. It's a ton of fun to get in there. I've run the orb or
right.
take things, so... We added leaderboards. That was exciting for the more high-end players. We added laurels to PvP.
Good change. It brought a lot of new players in, actually.
There was actually a bug when we first put it in. You can get double laurels.
I remember. It was the mists were popping.
The mists were popping during that week.
A lot of people.
So the really nice thing about that, though, is a lot of people came in, and then we got a lot of great feedback from players and that said, hey, I'd never tried this out before, and, I really like it, And so we actually had, really nice population gain from laurels, adding laurels in there, So it was really, really a nice addition to that, A little later, custom arenas and spectator mode. I think my greatest moment when spectator mode came out was that we turned it on. It was opened up in beta. A bunch of people were testing out custom arenas for us. That very first day, popped on the forums. There was somebody made a post that said, "Hey, blue shoutcasting." So we all flipped over and watched Blue, shoutcasting one of the first matches using spectator mode. Everyone was really excited. We're excited watching this match. Blue, you know how he is. He's
11.
He's
all
at
the
11. He's at 11. Just at the end of the match, he's super excited. He's talking and recapping everything like that. I got so excited, I actually jumped out of my chair, and I was like standing there with my hands in the air.
Right.
And then I turned around, and there was actually 3 other guys on the team who had also jumped out of their chairs. So it was a fun moment in the office that day.
Yeah, it was a really exciting time. For me personally, that's one of the features I was looking forward to the most. Is something that really helped us kind of push the competitive scene. Right after the custom arenas came out, we had a couple tournaments. I think the first one, I think the first official tournament that we kind of had that had a good view count was the Kings of Beta tournament that was put on by That's So Pish. And that was really fun. It was a really great time. I think Team Paradigm actually ended up taking that tournament. It was my first time shoutcasting, and I kind of just did it because we needed someone to do it, so I kind of just jumped in. But custom arenas were a really good time. That's really enabled a lot of interesting stuff from the community to come out. We had, I do have a list here. So we had the Curse tournaments back in the day, Master of the Mist tournaments. We had one for EU, one for NA. Those were really exciting. We pulled the really good numbers back when the hype was super, a lot of people were really interested in seeing Guild Wars 2, and it went really well. We had the MMORPG Invitational, MLG Invitational that Seraph and Blue did. That was actually super high production value because they did it from MLG's studio in New York, so that was really cool to see. ESL, they've had a test cup and an opening cup, and now they do the weekly tournaments, so that was pretty cool. Thermal Take, they did a APAC tournament, which is, I guess, Asia, and then I think Australia, kind of.
I believe they had, I don't remember all the countries off the top of my head, but I think there was a Thai team in there, Japanese team.
They had Undercoverism, and Strange World, a couple other teams that we see on NA, and the random hours, log on at 3 in the morning and you see teams queuing consistently. It's those guys. So that was cool. We obviously had the whole Mist League thing, the whole season that they had running, and they also did the qualifiers for packs. That was really fun. That was really fun. I think that was probably some of the most fun times we had in the game. You mentioned standing up, at the games. I actually casted that from this room. It was my first week after I got hired at ArenaNet. I actually hadn't started my first day yet, but they let me come in and cast it, and I actually did it from right here. And I didn't even need a chair that day. I just had it over there. I was standing the entire time. I was super hyped. Those were some really good games.
Yeah, that's and then the invitational tournament.
Right.
It was a fantastic time, and we always love meeting players face to face. I think that's our favorite way to interact with people.
Right.
And having a Sync Car Crash come by, those are all just fantastic guys, all of them. And I love talking to them. And it's just to see that you have these really great guys with great backgrounds, you have guys who are going off to business school, guys who are starting to become doctors, biologists, a couple of teachers, most of them are still in school, so they're studying to be these things. Pharmacist, one guy had, he had actually came onto some bad times, lost his job as a mechanic, but then picked up a copy of Guild Wars 2. And then, a little while later, he's playing, he's got a trip out here, got to meet all of us, and we got to have a great time. I think one of my favorite moments from that was after everything was over and we were hanging out, at the anniversary bash. And Mogwao, who I keep getting his name wrong, so
right.
I'm sorry, Mogwao, but, he was just super excited and, he just loved the tremendous amount of sportsmanship that he was seeing. That both teams, they got to be really good friends while they were there. They hung out a bunch with each other.
It was interesting to see their personalities in game. Obviously, it's, Guild Wars 2 it's competitive. A lot of trash talking, competitive banter. But everyone in real life is relatively normal.
Oh,
so
yeah.
it was pretty cool to see just normal dudes.
Yeah, great guys, all of them. And I also learned the term zombiceps.
Zombiceps, yeah.
And,
he was on State of the Game with us, and he just sat there the entire time with oh, that's a great idea, chap. Yeah, I like that. Just flexing the entire time.
Yeah, Zombify, he's got guns.
He does. He he flexed at every opportunity that he could get. He is quite the clown.
And we love you, Zombify.
So that was really fun. We learned a lot too. There's a lot that we learned that we can do better next time. Yeah, it's a great experience all around.
Yeah. We created a program, it's the Authorized Shoutcaster program,
Right.
as well. So and there's a notification system that it's there for those guys. So they they get to go in and we have an agreement with them. We talk to them and they shoutcast matches. And that was something else that came up. Soul Arena was a big thing.
Much requested feature.
Yeah, actually, so I will tell you, the Soul Arena was actually not part of our original plans, but that was something that the community came out and that that kept coming up as like this is something that we really want, and we just shifted gears and worked on that and put that in, and it's been pretty popular the entire time. So it actually brought a bunch of people. Of course, naturally pulled some people out of Team Arena,
Right.
But it actually brought a lot of people out of custom arenas up into that next competitive level.
It was great for players like myself. Like I used to play on teams back like when the game first came out. I just played on teams all the time, but like I kind of fell out of that and I stopped playing with people as competitive, especially when I started doing like state of the game stuff like that. I didn't really have as much time to just play with teams, but it really gave me a place to go and play competitively where I didn't have to rely on waiting for 4 other members to log on so we could run our perfect pre-made. So it's been a good outlet for a lot of players that don't have access to a lot of resources that other players do.
Around this time also was the Skyhammer release,
Right.
And I'm sure just saying Skyhammer caused chat to explode.
I'm sure,
right there.
I'm sure it has.
It is an incredibly polarizing map. We understand that. Some people love it, some people hate it. But it was a great release, for us, and
Very popular, actually.
yeah, it's a little bit of a take on a little bit of traditional TDM style things. There's jump pads and ring outs and all that. So it's just an interesting difference on that one.
Indeed.
There was the overhaul of the minimap PvP. So players who have been here for a while, they know that the minimap was really difficult to use in the past, and now we fixed its location. We have everything on at one time. Whereas before you kind of had to scroll around the minimap to see what was going on. You could see your the professions of your teammates. Now you can see enemies. Like if your teammate has seen an enemy, then that's showing up on the minimap as well.
Also, most of them are repainted too. The actual minimaps themselves, like that helped. The clarity was actually
actually every
big boost.
single minimap was repainted and all that to make it easier to read.
It makes the profession icons stand a little bit more. But I think it really the change to the profession icons for like Soul Arena I think helps out quite a bit. Just because you can't type when you're playing. If you're like at home and someone comes and fights you, you can't really take the time to be like, hey guys, I really need help at home point. You don't have the opportunity to do that. So being able to look at the minimap and seeing like, oh, okay, there's a guy over there. I should probably go help my friend out. It really helps out in solo queue.
Yeah, it's amazing how those small things matter so much, right? Just being able to see that has just improved how I play the game so much.
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
Let's see. We got there's change to normalize how rewards get handed out, right? So rank glory, all that. And this was really kind of like the blog post came out after that change, right? But that was kind of like the first beginnings of some of the rewards overhaul.
This is late October, I think.
Yeah.
So before the blog post for sure.
Yeah. Let's see. There was some changes to how solo queue rosters are created. I'm not sure if everyone knows what that change was, but it used to be that you were matched up by your ratings, and then you formed a team, and then that team started looking for someone else to match up against, right? And what that was causing was that this team was always better than that team,
right?
Or not always, but often, and instead what we did is we changed it so that we actually collect up to 10 players and then form a team out of that. So, we mixed up a little bit more, so that actually improved.
Yeah, so the ratings are a little bit more distributed evenly between the two teams. It's a good change. The games after that were a lot more healthy. And that was beginning of November, I believe. I think November 12th, actually. So that was a good change.
And then brings us up to the current one, the most recent change.
Last week?
Yeah, last week. Where we added gold. We added a vendor. The vendor has lots of cool stuff on them, and you're able to buy tomes of knowledge now, and so it allows you to level up. I took my ranger all the way up to 79
Nice. Oh, only 79.
I just want to be that
Okay,
half
you
a
want
step away.
to get that completion like on your own.
Yeah,
Okay.
the half step away. Yeah, and then also like and then I cleaned out my account to buy my sort of cultural armor.
Right. You don't have a lot of money.
What's that?
You're broke.
I'm down to. I
Okay.
cleaned it out.
See, actually, I made a lot of money with this patch. A lot of Winter's Day boxes.
Yeah.
So it was good. Yeah. So it was interesting. I mean, obviously, there's a reason for players who normally didn't PvP to come in. I mean, this patch there's not a lot of living story updates. So it was like until the next patch, there's a lot of stuff for people to do now. Like you come into PvP, you can test it out, you make gold at the same time, get glory, and you can get all the stuff that was on the vendor.
And these are things that players have actually been asking for: the ability to get to level up and to get gold in PvP for quite a while. So I'm really happy that we're able to actually put this in now, for them. And that's actually so that actually kind of like leads into the next thing I want to talk about, which is basically like the effect that this update has had, right? So. So it was a pretty amazing couple of weeks for PvP as far as players coming in. So PvP numbers were way up across the board after this last patch. There's some real big highlights out of that, right? One of them is that Team Arena in North America almost doubled. It came very close to actually doubling in population, right? So
I can see like with the authorized shoutcaster program before I was able to do it, but now I can still do it. Obviously, that I work here. You could see the amount of matches that are popping that are above a certain threshold. And before, you'd see them every every couple of minutes you'd get a pop. But like immediately after the update, like my chat would just scroll with like a match is starting. It would just go up, and it's still like that. Like it's still like I can go in at any time and log on, and I can watch games all day long. It's pretty interesting. It's really cool to see it that active.
It's amazing. Like the queue's popping so much faster now. So it's just it's been great. Solo Arena actually last week was the best week ever for Solo Arena. We actually had more than launch week.
That's pretty good
during that time, right? It's just people are coming in, trying things out. Solo Arena is a great way to get your feet wet for the more competitive style play. So I think we see a lot of people coming in. And then I think probably one of the most important numbers is that the concurrency has been way up as well, right? So this is the number of people playing at one time, right?
Right.
It has actually been more than double.
Nice. I know we've been pretty excited when we see the numbers internally. We have a little dance every time we see it. So it's been pretty exciting. Things are starting to pick up, and they're still trending in that direction too, which is really awesome. So it's really great to see. I'm really glad. I mean, we've known for a long time that rewards is like one of the main things that we need to get in the game. We need to reward players for coming in, and now we're starting to do that. People are like, hey, actually this looks like kind of a bit of fun. I can progress my character. That all the time I'm spending in PvP, I can still progress my PvE character.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's that's one of the I think the biggest complaints we've had is that when you go into PvP, players felt like they're basically putting everything on pause.
Right.
And that's not the case anymore. So you can come in and you can earn some gold. You can apply that to leveling up your character. So it's not you're not really taking a pause from all your big goals anymore. Right.
Right.
And so. That leads into what's coming down the pipe for next year, right?
Right. So I guess this first part that we did was just kind of like I would say temporary, I guess, kind of just to lead us into the next phase. So this is kind of the thing just for right now, and then we'll move into the next most permanent, which is the next phase of the rewards update.
Yeah. So now I need to find out my notes. Yeah. So like exactly how you said, this was really kind of the first. We're calling this the first wave, right? The second wave, there's an updated reward system coming in. We're still not ready to talk about that yet, but it is going to allow players to, pick their goal and then work towards it.
Right.
So, with that goal leading to, a reward, a great reward for that, right? As part of this,
you'll be rewarded much more often.
And you will be rewarded much more often, yes. And part of this change is that we're going to remove glory, right? So we do want to underscore the fact that the glory vendor that's in there right now is temporary, right? And that we are going to let players know when we're going to remove it, when we have, when we're getting closer to that date, But I know sometimes players think, oh, something's coming, I'm going to hoard,
Right.
But really, like this glory vendor is there to spend your glory, and he will be pulled out
Eventually.
Eventually,
For sure.
And then the third wave, and this is actually a long-term project for us, coming up. But ladders and seasons, and then ways to show off your standings on those ladders and seasons.
I've been talking to a lot of players. I play all the time. I spend way too much time Guild Wars orientated, but a lot of players in the game are really excited for the ladders and seasons. They want a reason to log in and actually grind for those ranks. It's something that we saw right when the leaderboards came out. Players were going ham, I guess as people say, like trying to just climb those ladders, and they wanted to get to the top. And it'll be really great to see that again. So I'm excited for that quite a bit. Yeah,
I'm pretty excited for that as well. It's like players who are trying to climb the leaderboards right now, they do know that there can be some weirdness with it right now, and I feel like the ladders we're going to revamp all of that stuff, and this is going to be, I think it's just going to be a better system all around,
Right.
It is a long-term project for us. We've got Justin, he's working hard, he's doing a lot
Quite the ninja. We have a lot of ninjas on our team.
We have a lot of ninjas on our team.
That seems awesome.
But definitely, reworking a bunch of stuff to just improve how everything's working on the back end. So to make these things possible,
right.
And to actually do a lot more stuff after that, right? So, exciting long-term projects coming.
All right, what else we got on the list here? So I guess long-term after that, stuff that we've kind of touched on the forums quite a bit. So we know that the levers are a problem. We just kind of made some changes to the Dishonored system, which actually we saw a forum post today to where Evan actually responded to someone. They said like, "Hey, I'm getting these ticks of Dishonored on my account. Like, what's up?" And Evan looked into it, and it seems to be working correctly. We were seeing a lot more people being punished for leaving, which is really great. We're looking for more ways to do that in the future. We definitely want to penalize players that are trying to intentionally grief players for jumping into those matches.
Sure, yeah, and and the thing is, like, this is a system they're always going to be adjusting.
Right.
So I know that there were some complaints on there, about how harsh it is and all that.
Right.
But and these are all things we're going to look at as we go, right? But so it's going to be an evolving system for us,
for sure.
and we do want to work towards having the best matches possible on that. Should we go into some Q&A here for these?
Yeah, sure. So I did open up the thread on the forums, and as you guys saw, we opened it up for some questions. I just want to make it very clear that John is from the PvP team, which is completely separate from the Skills and Balance team. So we don't really actually have our hands in the balance of the game. Like, we collaborate with that team a little bit. I'm helping them out quite a bit. But the actual PvP team itself is mostly working on, I guess, like the infrastructure of PvP itself. So, I mean, if I asked you, like, how should we fix Elementalist, you wouldn't.
I'd just say quadruple everything.
Yeah,
right?
times 4 and we're good.
Yeah, no, it's it's a completely different team. So those guys are actually coming on in the future.
Yeah.
Right?
So what I was going to say is I have a note here somewhere. So like I said, I am helping that team out a little bit more.
Yeah.
I'm actually kind of working with them just as much as I work with PvP now. So as you guys know, the balance patch was last week. We put a big patch in last week. We are working on more stuff, but stuff just went out. We'll probably be able to talk about what kind of changes we want to do in terms of balance and just terms of skills overall sometime early next month. And I think we'll have, maybe Peter's on. But we'll definitely be getting that stuff on the forums again so you guys can give feedback on that stuff way ahead of time. The feedback we got from those threads that we put on the forums before was amazing. We did a lot of changes based on that feedback, and we'll definitely be doing that when we go into the next round. So early January. We will be taking a little bit of a break here, in the office for Christmas and whatnot, but we'll be back in early January and going hard once again. So,
okay.
But we do have questions for PvP, though, that we'll jump into now.
So you gave me a few questions here. So one of them is, how do you feel about 2v2s and 3v3s, right? We absolutely love that this is happening out there in the community right now, and that there are some tournaments going on, and people are loving taking a break with all that, right? We're going to look into how we can support these events. Anything else is kind of more pie in the sky sort of stuff that we'd take into consideration for later, right? But we do love that this is happening right now, and we think it's great.
Well, I mean, on that note, like just our combat system in Guild Wars 2 is it's great for like small engagements, 2v2s, and you see some interesting comps coming out. There was a 2v2 tournament that Bluecast did 2 weeks ago, And you see a lot more build diversity in these 2v2s. Like, you can pull off a lot more things in it that you wouldn't normally see. Prismatic Understanding Mesmer, for example, relying on stealth, something you wouldn't normally see in a Conquest game, just because if you go stealth, you lose your point. So you see a lot more build diversity in these 2v2 tournaments, so it's really interesting. And big thanks to Blue and everyone else who's been running those tournaments, because it's been pretty awesome.
Yeah, it's been fun to watch.
Yeah.
So people keep asking about unique skins, unique rewards. Just want to say that the plan is there will be unique rewards in PvP, and I will say that the first one is going to come in the next phase. So I'll just tease it at that.
Next phase.
Not going to say
next
what
wave.
It is. Next
All
wave.
Right.
Next
we'll
wave.
call it a wave. Sounds good.
Yeah.
So unique rewards for PvPers.
Yep.
Sounds good.
What are our plans for Magic Find PvP? So Magic Find is going to affect rewards in the new system. It's why we put it on items now. So if you have excess items, break it down.
So anyone with boxes still that's waiting, like you said before, everyone's like hoarding stuff, trying to wait. It really would just behoove you to just break those boxes down now and get as much luck as you can.
Yeah, like I said, you want to make sure you fill out your collection there. But if you have excess stuff, break it down.
Yeah. So and on that note, so skins. Can we talk about that a little bit? Like, so eventually you will be able to have skins going for in other parts of the game.
So that's as part of the next wave, right? There will be gear unification, right? So there will be no distinction between PvP and PvE gear anymore, right?
Right.
Now we are going to still PvP will still be statless as far as gear goes, right? So it'll function pretty much identically to the way it does now, right? But you'll be able to get a sword in PvP and take it over into PvE, and vice versa, right? So that's as much as we can talk about as far as that one goes. But there will be
all right, sounds good.
There will be gear unification on that one.
All right. Was there any other specific questions you wanted to pull off on that?
I think that was all the questions on there for me.
So we I guess we would cover it again because we mentioned it on the forums. We are going to be keeping ranks.
Yes, definitely. So originally we had said that we were going to cut ranks, right? And then as part of those plans, but then on the CDI, there was a big basically community outpouring, right, saying like, no, please let us keep ranks, so we took that feedback and talked about it, and we decided we are going to keep ranks, definitely. At the moment, the plan is that they're going to stay in their current format, so kind of discuss some differences we might make, but we're going to keep it that way.
All right, sounds good.
I guess the one thing I was going to say was that we are going to look at rebalancing some of the later ranks.
Yes.
Because, like one person actually did the math and
11 years.
found it's going to take him like 10 years
right.
at his current rate of play, right?
I think the full track takes you like 8.5 million glory, and I think right now I have like 800k on my character, or pardon me, rank points. So it takes 8.5 million rank points to get to 80, and right now I have like 800k. And I've been playing, pretty consistent, almost exclusively in PvP since the game came out. So I have a ways to go. So hopefully we can, lower that curve.
Yeah, so we're definitely going to readjust those because, we want those to be an achievable goal. Like I said in the forums, we don't want this to be a quest that you pass on to your children.
Right.
Son, take my account, carry the banner forward.
Carry on my legacy. So like you said before, like numbers are doing really well. Like we have a lot more players in PvP, and we've seen this mentioned on the forums quite a bit. Players coming in and really not knowing how to play PvP. And it can be confusing if you come in for the first, fresh, and you jump right into like a solo queue or hot join or whatever. So I think I just wanted to mention like it would be really helpful if players, like, instead of trying to like troll them, right off the bat, like, oh man, you're awful. Like, why are you in my game, man? Like, you should uninstall, stuff like that. Like, try to help those players out. Like, we want to retain those players, obviously, just for the entire community overall. Like, your health, the health of the game, like, especially your match pops, are going to be much better with more players that are involved. And eventually, if a player is, not as skilled, they will eventually fall, out of your bracket. But I think we should really be focusing on helping those players out. I threw up a guide up on the forums the other day, something I wrote over lunch, just kind of like a really basic intro to PvP. I'd like for it to be a little bit of like a collaborative attempt. Like, if you guys have stuff you'd like to see added to it, feel free to PM me on the forums, and I'll go ahead and add it up there. There's a great list of guides, of streams as well, and then again, like I said, like a basic intro to PvP. There's also a lot of other guys out there. Wooden Potatoes and Matt Visual did a series on it. Kill Chain has got some awesome stuff on YouTube.
So I want to say something about Wooden Potatoes, right? Like, you know, I was talking to a player, and he was in Wooden Potatoes guild, right? And he was saying that, you know, he was actually doing these like PvP training sessions with everybody, right? And so this player that I was talking to, you know, he was a pure PvE player, you know, but he started going to some of these training sessions that Wooden Potatoes was doing, right? And just got him interested in doing it, you know. And so he went from, you know, not knowing anything, and in fact, he even kind of admitted to me that he didn't know anything about traits, you know. Didn't have any traits set, you know, on his PvE character. But he went from doing that to actually like getting so good that he was actually been in some of the teams, and you know, actually, I'm not going to name any names, but he's been he's been in some of the on some of the teams that have been playing in you know, some of these big tournaments that have been going on, you know, in our community, you know.
Yeah, it's good to see. There's a couple of guilds on NA, I think, as well that'll do the same thing, where you join up and they'll kind of give you a helping hand. So for the new players out there, definitely jump on the forums. There's a lot of people that will attempt to help you on the forums. You just got to look in the right places, and the guide there at the top is definitely a good place to start.
Yeah, it was great to see the community growing itself, you know, through things like that.
Yeah, definitely check out Synsotics as well. He's got some guides for solo queue play, so that's something that interests you. Definitely behoove you to check out Synsotics. So I guess we do have a little bit of a surprise on the stream, you know, for our viewers, anyways, or for the whole population in general. Let me go ahead and change the slide real quick here.
Make it so, number one.
That is actually not
That's not the surprise.
That is not the correct slide, but there is a striking resemblance between.
That's strange, yeah. So Will Abreu, and I hope I got his name right, but Cyrif.
Right.
So after the last raid up, he's called me the Riker of PvP because of the beard, right? So I was like, well, man, you know, if I have a beard and that makes me Riker, well, Chap is bald,
and
right?
He gets to be Picard by
So
default.
he gets to be Picard by default.
He's a little more sassy than Picard, though. He's got that little smirk going on.
That is a sassy Picard right there.
Anyways, that is not the surprise. Let's bring it back in here.
Yeah,
let's bring it back a step, and we'll.
So yeah, let's see. I'm gonna put this on.
Feeling very festive.
Oh yeah,
I feel festive. Like just
well,
you're radiating.
This is not a hat, right? This is the Ho-Ho-Hotron Giftinator.
Oh, okay.
Right, and it will like let me know about things that are going on in Winter's Day right now.
Okay.
So, wait, sorry, I'm starting to get a signal in right now.
You channeling it?
I'm seeing Solo Arena gift boxes.
Oh, Winter's Day gift
Winter's
boxes.
Day gift boxes.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Nice.
So we're gonna put five gift boxes for every win in Solo Arena.
Nothing for Team Arena though.
Whoa! I'm getting a much bigger signal now. Can you hear the theremin music?
I can't. I don't have the hat.
I'm hearing theremin music. Right now. So I'm getting 10 gift boxes for a win in Team Arena right now.
Okay. All right.
So,
That's
yeah,
pretty good.
well,
So
so
10 for Team Arena and 5 for solo queue.
Yeah.
Okay, that's pretty good.
I better take this
Yeah,
off
your
before
nose is gonna
fries.
start bleeding.
I'm gonna start bleeding.
Cool. So nice, and you'll be getting that on top of your normal tournament chests.
On top of everything else. So unlike the Halloween stuff, right, where we only did one,
right?
We actually updated that system so you can give 2 things out, or multiple things out now. So we're gonna give out both of those.
Oh my God! On top of the gold.
On top of the gold
and all the rank points.
The tournament win chest.
It is truly the holidays. That was really corny and terrible. So who's actually putting that in? We got to name drop him.
Justin.
It's Justin. Okay.
It's Justin.
Justin will be actually putting that in for us. Awesome. Cool.
He sits at the command center. He pulls all the levers. And
he is a wizard. Anyways, I just wanted to remind you guys there is a couple tournaments coming up relatively soon. The Good Fights Invitational did have to get pushed back. Unfortunately, that'll be happening next month. So next month we will have the VVV tournament and the Good Fights Invitational. Should be some awesome stuff there. What else was I going to mention here? Spacing out right now. Oh yeah, so like I mentioned earlier, we will be having more shows coming up next month. We're going to be taking a little bit of break because of the holiday season and whatnot. Most of us will be out of town. I mean, it's half the people left already. It's already it's only the 20th. We'll be back early next month with some updates on the balance changes that will be coming into the next balance patch, along with some other interesting stuff coming out from the skills and balance team. And then obviously we'll be here as well. And as we get closer to our next update, we'll be able to show more and more stuff from the next wave. So stay tuned. We'll be doing this again. The show is bi-weekly. And yeah.
So one last thing I want to say,
Sure.
is that so we all watched Save the Game while you were doing it, and I know I've kind of said this before. I want to say this to everybody, right? That I really, felt like you really kept things together for PvP. That there was just that passion, just emanating from you. It was better than the Giftatron over there, right? And I just want to thank you for all the work you did in the community at that time, and just tell you that we really appreciated it. We really enjoyed being on your show and talking about things and debating things, and I'm really glad to have you here now. It's like,
Cool. Well,
it's like we saw
I'm
you.
happy too.
This way.
It's been an interesting year. I mean, I just the other day I mentioned to Chap that it was like over a year ago that I said the first state of the game, and it was really horrible, like overlay, like the background looked awful, and I was just kind of struck me. I was like, weird, that was over a year ago, and then I've actually been here now for like 6 months, so it's been like kind of a crazy year. I dropped everything in Arizona and moved to Seattle, and now there's snow outside. Like it's
crazy.
It's crazy times. Stuff? I don't know. It's weird. So yeah, it's been an interesting year, and I'm glad to be here. So it's been fun. And in the player interaction like that we had before State of the Game, like I'm still trying to do that. I talk to players all the time about stuff. We talk about balance. We talk about stuff they'd like to see in PvP, and I'm doing that on a constant basis. Trying to help out all the teams with feedback and whatnot. So the interaction is still there. Might not be as public. That's why this show's here now, but it's still happening. Chad says happy holidays.
Happy holidays.
Ruby
just ran in and delivered a message.
Turned the lights back on. They're motion detector lights, and I didn't want to get up and walk away to go turn them back on. But anyways, guys.
And thanks a lot for all you guys out there watching, all you guys
Yeah.
playing. We love you guys. We love doing this. And it's just your passion drives our passion. And
Absolutely.
And it's just been great.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry.
No, it's like I think we have a great community, and it's getting bigger day by day. So it's really fun. And yeah, again, big thanks to everyone out there that's watching, and everyone that continues to play PvP. Again, our numbers are way up. So if you see someone in solo queue or team queue, like instead of telling them that they're a scrub, you should give
them some advice.
Friendly
advice.
Help them up out of the dirt. Tell them better luck next time. Stuff like that. So yeah. Anyways, guys, thanks for watching. Again, we'll be back early next January, and we'll have some of the balance team on here, and then after that, we'll have someone from the PP team on again, and we'll this happens every 2 weeks or so, so we'll be back.
All right, happy holidays to you guys too.
Yeah, see you guys. Thanks for watching.
Make it so, number one.
I had to do it at the end. I don't know. All right, see you guys.
Practice my sitting.